let's say if you had, oh, thanks, Lucy. Um, let's say you have like 20 line items, it's gonna be a lot of pages. And so far, we've been having testing issues with suppliers with multiple line items and the terms and conditions attached to this. Um, so that's gonna be changed. All right, and then I'm gonna go back to here. So I'm gonna go back to got it buying. And gonna give a brief demo on the non-catalog. So the catalog is the same process as today. You go if it's a level one. Level one is basically you're going directly to the supplier's website. Level two is just basically a file that they upload with all the items, and they you punch out with your items, and then once you for the catalog, all these information is pre-filled already. And then for non-catalog, you have to this will basically the replacement of your describe requirement. So in today's date, we have goods and then we have services. So in tomorrow's world, services will be all leases. There will be no line of credits for like leases, service agreements, or any type of equipment, stuff like that. So that's going to be all under services, and we'll give you a better layout on what can be provided for under services. So yeah, and so I'm gonna go for goods, test, choose category. So again, the category will be the commodity codes. So once you select the first commodity code, you will automatically have this listed under in here. You don't have to click on browse through all and search for it. So once you choose it once, you don't have to go back. It'll appear on here, and you can choose it again. Test 320. Today's date, 23rd, 24. Look at that. 24. So I'm cook 20, 2500. So I'm gonna click add to cart. You could view all suppliers here. If you want to choose a supplier on here, you can, but that's up to you. I always go through the other route. Let's click right. So I want to go through this section first. So you're able to manage the locations. What you need to choose to all the locations will be uploaded in here. You also have the deliver to option. Once you select this will automatically be repeated per line item. Same thing with the charge to. Once you basically do the once you select one, if it's WBS or funds, and once you select it, basically it will be repeated per line item. You can also do you can also choose split accounting, which would be under fund or WBS, or you can use both. You have that option as well. And the way the split accounting works is basically you click on here, split accounting, and then you have the option for percentage, quantity, and amount. Once you choose whichever one, you basically have to choose a percentage, or if it's the amount, or if it's the quantity. That's how you're able to adjust it. Now you could do multiples. If you want to, if you got to split it through 10 accounts, you just click add split, and then you keep going to add split until you reach the amount that you need. And then you'll be able to allocate it however you need to allocate it, the percentage, quantity. Gonna close this out so that way. And then another key feature here is that when you basically choose a non-preferred supplier, you basically need to provide WCM letter of justification, 3 quotes, or the approved source justification. Now, if you want to get quotes and stuff like that, that'll be through the tactical sourcing part. And I'll show you guys in a minute of that on how that works. But let's say you already had the justification or the 3 quotes or the approved source justification. You just click on it. The submit button will be highlighted. You attach the file. And you can also put the comments on here for internal use, or you can share with the supplier. You have both options. Then you click submit. And then that's pretty much it. I forgot to go over something. Sorry, guys. Let me see if I can go to another one. To go over the invoice option.
All right, before we get started with the next piece, may I ask one of the questions that came up in the chat?
Sure.
The question is, do we have to confirm receipt of goods and services in order for the invoice to be processed by accounts payable?
No, you do not have to, but I have this option here. I forgot to review with you guys. So would you like to review the invoice for this order before it's paid? This is going to be defaulted into yes. Then you have the option to click no if you decide not to. But before the invoice is paid, best practice is for you to make sure you receive all your goods or your services are completed before the invoice is paid. That's why I'm making this option defaulted. Right now it's not defaulted, but they're working on the fix for that. So yes. So yeah, no need to confirm the goods and receipts until you get the invoice.
Thank you, Jorge.
Sure. Yeah, I wanted to get to that option. So any other questions before I go through the approval? No, we're all good? Okay. Let me log out and go through the approval. So I'm gonna go through the approval path, issue the PO, and then I'm gonna sign in as the supplier so I can show you what the supplier sees on their end, as far as for invoicing and how it works for the supplier. So let me just approve this request. So basically you go to your approvals, and then as you see, my requisitions right here. Basically you see the detail. As an approver, you go to see details, see what the details are. You're able to, as you see, this approved social justification. All the attachments will be on here. If there's any attachments, any comments, and basically what they're ordering. So all that information will be here. So I just click approve. Go through the next approver, CNDB, CNDBA. All right, click approve. Then I'm gonna log out. And I go to your approvals. I also want to point out right quick, and this is for anybody, even as a requester, when you drag the mouse into this little circle with the checkbox or with the blue dot, you're gonna see everybody's name on there. So basically, you contact the person that's on the approval path and like, hey, this requisition is in your queue. Can like if you need the request to be approved quickly, you will see all of their names. Then I click approve. Then I'll log back in as the requester. And I go into my request. So as a requester, you're gonna get the email that the PO has been completed. So as you see, this is the request that I created. This is the PO number. Then now, since the PO is issued, I'm gonna go as I'm gonna act like the supplier. So the supplier is gonna get an email stating that log me out. Stating that they received an order from Wa Cornell. So they're gonna log in, and then they're gonna see that this is their dashboard. So they're gonna see new orders, how many orders are currently within Wa Cornell, how many invoices were rejected, and then how many payments were issued. They have all this information on there. So they're gonna click on new orders. And as you see, this is my order right here. This is today's date. So before any invoices are issued, they have to confirm the order. Now, key here is that, they could update the line item. So like say, for example, they want to send confirmation, but they want to give you only could confirm 5, 10 are back ordered, 0, I can't give you. They'll explain the explanation on there. They also attach, whatever they need to attach, on their end. They also can reject the whole entire order. So they have that option as well. They could reject the whole entire order, or they could confirm the entire order. So I'm gonna confirm the entire order. So CO, what's the PO? 564. Supplier reference. There's like a reference number that they have with that's already in the system, like an account or something that will be pulled under there. Estimated shipping date, they could provide that. Estimated delivery date, they could also provide this. Estimated shipping costs, it'll be 50. Again, these are all estimates. Tax, unfortunately, we're tax exempt, so no tax. And then they click next, and then hit the submit button. Now, the button appears for create invoice. As a requester, you see that says ordered. Now, let me hold on. I'm going to this. So now your order has been confirmed. So when you go into your PO, your order's gonna be, you're gonna get an email that you're gonna get an order confirmation, but in the system is gonna state that the order is confirmed, which is good. So now the supplier has acted on it. Now they have the option to create a ship notice or and create the invoice. Sometimes some suppliers, they'll create the ship notice to give you, like the shipping label and all that stuff, tracking information. But sometimes they'll put that on here as well. Then you create an invoice. You can do it. So Landline credit memo is basically once the invoice is issued, they're able to create this. Line debit memo, no suppliers using this because I already went through all the scenarios with them. So it would just be this option or the standard invoice. So since there's no invoice in there, I can't create a credit memo. But let's create a standard invoice. IMV 564. Server description. If there's a description, this is just test. Supplier tax ID. No. Then this will be the tax. You have to remove this because we're tax exempt. There's no way for me to actually remove that. I tried that in so many ways. Shipping will basically, who's it shipped from, the supplier, and then who's going ship to. So again, this is gonna be changed. It's gonna have everybody's basically requested information and who's delivered to. Payment terms basically will be the net term. If there's any discounts applied to the supplier, that's going to be on there. The percentage is going to be on. Additional fields, there's an account number. They put the account number on there. Customer's reference, if there's a reference number they want to put, they can put that on there. Supplier's reference, so note on their end. Payment notes. They can put any note they need. They want to pay ASAP. Service start date. If it's a service, you can put when the service is going to start. If it's a service end date, then you can put that. They put that as well. Gives the customers walk on now. Then they'll click on this. Sorry. Now again, let's say if they send you the order confirmation, like, hey, I got 5 back ordered, basically this would be adjusted. This also cannot be changed. I don't think so. Hold on. Let's see update. Yeah. So they can't change the price. Like, let's say if the item is more than the unit price, they can't change it. Now, let's say if it's less, then kudos on you guys. You guys get savings. So just an FYI on that. So there won't be no discrepancy on, basically on the line item level for the unit price. Then they click on next. Then basically they will have, this will be the invoice, how it looks. So you have the remit to, the bill to, the supplier's information, the bill from, and customer's information. Shipping information, who's it shipped to, all the information will be on here, and who's it coming from. Then the payment terms, then all the additional information, with basically like the account number and stuff like that. Then it comes the line item level. So the part number will be on here, the description, the quantity, unit price, and the total. Then once everything is good, tax summary, there's no taxes, and the invoice summary, this is always blank. Then you click submit, and then that's it. Invoice is submitted. So now, let me see if I refresh this as the requester. See if I go into, yeah, it still hasn't come in the system yet. Sorry guys, trying to see how. So once you go in here, once you click on the PO and you go to invoices, the invoice came in and it's been reconciled. So it's been paid. Now, once you check because the check box is gonna be defaulted, you're gonna get the invoice, you're gonna review it, and the fund approver is gonna get it. Now, we have a lot of suppliers with net 5 due to the SUA. So if the if nobody approves, so we have it set as you get a warning. So let's say the warning is 2 days. So by the 4th day, if nothing is approved, basically it will get pushed to it get paid. So I urgently ask people, to basically review it. It's also gonna fall under your to-do all items. So once you click on here, you're gonna see all your to-dos. So this button is not going anywhere. We're still creating this mapping still, but everything will fall under the to-do. So you'll see that on there. All right, I know I gave a lot. Any questions?
Jorge, the first question we have in the chat is, how do we do return orders for damaged goods or incorrect items received?
So that will not go through Ariba. That is actually gonna go. You gotta handle that directly with the supplier. The system is only made for basically for transacting and for invoicing. For returns and stuff like that, you will have to basically contact the approver and not approver, the supplier, and then you should be okay, and then handle transactions there. They have to basically, as I told you, as a supplier, they have to come here and have to create a credit memo. So once they create the credit memo, and I'll show you very quick. So they click on the invoice, create a line item credit memo, and then the credit memo will be, credit. And then as you see, it gets deducted and then will be coming back. So I hope that answers the question.
I think some of the team wanted to know if, basically this works the same as for all the vendors. For example, Granger, WB Mason. So they're asking for, can we see an example for Granger or WB Mason?
Granger, I'm currently still testing with them. I can't do a demo against Granger. WB Mason, I completed but I can't log in as WB Mason. That's the only problem. But it will be the same process.
Thank you, Jorge. There's a new question. Is there a way to add a supplier?
So the way the request works, I'll show you very quick. I don't know where this green dot came from. Do you guys see this green?
That's weird, huh?
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere. I'm like, and
I
can't
know. Very strange.
even... I'm like,
It's
okay.
Thursday.
I got a ghost machine. All right. Back to requested supplier. So key here is that, let me show you this. So when you're in your guiding buying land page, you're gonna go to Ariba buying and invoicing, right? And then it's gonna take you here. This is like your main portal, for if you want to look up a requisition. So you have, requisition. Right now, I'm set as the admin, so I have all these options, but not everybody will have these options. So if you want to look up a requisition, the requisition number, you could click that. If you want to look up, this is basically like your advanced search. You want to look for a PO, you can look for the PO if you want it. Now, to request a supplier, the way it works is you just create button here, you go to create, and you go to supplier request. So the supplier request, basically.
Es que la Landa tiene pelotazo en todo. Y la Landa
por qué no mandamos esto?
Porque por eso tengo un retraso. Entonces, con los pases y de alguna manera, o los Landa han bajado su actividad y se han vuelto así como más mal, han vuelto crazy y han aumentado un pollón. Porque comparado con el Pitan viejo, también pegan bastante. Entonces yo lo que creo es que se han activado los Pitan nuevos. No sé por qué. Anyway, entonces yo le enseñé esto a Marita y me dijo,
guys. Oh, they muted. Okay, cool. All right. So basically, the supply request form, you just supply the justification, the reason why. And then who is it going for? If it's New York or Qatar. If it goes to New York, it goes to the purchasing team in New York. It goes to Qatar, it goes to the purchasing team in Qatar. And then now you're gonna have the options: purchasing supplier or pay only supplier. So the pay only supplier is only for, as you know, e-forms. So that'll be for that option. Purchase supplier, basically, you're gonna create a PO, have no invoices, and you have a quote already for the supplier. So you go there, and then you basically go to test 324. Supplier name. And then you type in the address, 1234 Main Street, New York. Zip code. United States. Now remember, you see this here? Please do not click on that. It's not gonna work. It has to be from the drop down. Because if I click on it, it's still gonna give you that. Sometimes it won't work. Sometimes it will. But I suggest using the drop down. Then you put the supplier primary contact. Now you have to put an email on here, so that way, what's it called? They be able to the primary requester get the invitation. Now you're gonna department requester. All you gotta do is type in whichever department you're working for. Where is it at? Oh, it's not working. Oh, there you go. You just click on it. You also have the drop down. If there's different entities, Let me see. I think medicine has. That's not on there. I guess they changed it. So yeah, you just basically whichever department you're working for, it'll be on here. So we listed every department on here, so we're good to go. Then once you hit submit, basically it's gonna tell you, hey, by the way, based on your name, address, you know, text ID number, but we don't put that on here. I don't know why that option is there. Basically, it will go by the name and address. If it matches, it's gonna give you the supplier number. The supplier number will be on here, and then you'll be like, oh, they're already in the system. Good to go. Just copy that supplier number, then you go into create non-catalog. And then if they're not in the system, you just ignore, submit request. Now the request has been submitted for review to purchasing. Purchasing is going to review, and then we're going to get back to you. I always suggest to attach a quote to this request, so that way we can know what you're purchasing, what's the reason, and possible we can probably find you other discounts with other suppliers, if anything. But sometimes it's not the case. We have to create a new supplier. Then once purchasing approves it, the supplier is gonna get an email for registration. In the email and the registration, they are going to basically pull all the information: who the PO is gonna go to, who the where the money is going. If there's a different remittance address, they got to provide that. They also got to.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Someone's asking, when do we use this form?
Only for when you request a new supplier. That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Suppliers have the ability to update their own profile. So let's say in the future, VWR, right? They need to change their remittance address, or they need to change where the purchase orders are going to. They have access to do that. They are able to change it themselves. Now we do have access as well, but we leaving it up to the ownership of the supplier. I hope that helps.
We have other questions in the chat. How do we do a P card allocation?
P card is not in scope right now for Ariba, so it will still be done manually. Ariba does handle P cards. It's just not in scope at the moment, but we're hoping for the future. Next question.
There was one earlier, I'm sorry. And Jennifer, you may have to clarify. Is this like describe what you want?
So yes. So describe requirement is basically request a non-catalog. So that's what that will be. Yeah, and shopping cart will be called requisition. It's no longer going to be called shopping cart. Line of credit will be called earmark fund. Now I'm gonna show you how the way. Let me give you a brief explanation on how line of credit works. So here, you're gonna go to common actions, line of credit requests. I'm not gonna do the full demo because it's still in the works. So basically, you're gonna put the title, supplier, GL account, justification or reason why you need this line of credit. And then again, if it's over 10 grand, if it's over 10 grand and it's a non-preferred supplier, you got to provide, a social justification for that. 3 business not needed because, you're doing a line of credit for them. So you got to do a social justification. then the funding source, either be fund, WBS, or both. Once you hit submit, it's gonna go through approval through purchasing. Purchasing is gonna approve it, and then you'll be given a document number. The document number is only for internal use only. And then that document number, with that document number, you basically, if it's a catalog or is a non-catalog, you're gonna use that document against that. So the way that works is, if it's catalog, all this information is gonna be pre-filled. As give you where exactly where this is gonna take place. So once okay. So basically you will go to accounting. So you filled out everything, need by date, I want to view the invoice, touching to, requester, vendor, you choose supplier. Then once you hit accounting, see the earmark funds document. So right now, you're currently in the approval path. Once the earmark fund is approved completely from all approvers, that automatically skips it. Then you just create the requisition against these LOC, and that's pretty much it. The LOC can only be submitted for that supplier only. And it works the same way in SideQuest. When you have an LOC, you want to use WB Mason, you want to use the LLC for WB Mason, you put that on there, or keep deducting and deducting. And you will also see the history on there, which we currently still in the build for that. Hopefully by the end of next week, I'll be able to complete the UAT for that. And then the following week, I will be able to present a demo on that for that. I hope that clears any questions on that.
We've got several questions in the chat. Let me just go back to the first one. Do we use Ariba for e-forms?
No. So Ariba is still, eForce, eForms is still going to be handled through ECC. So that's not changing.
Great. Next question, and I'll save the training question for last so Pauline can talk a little bit about training. How would we request service for vendors like FedEx or World Courier?
So World Courier, FedEx, that will fall under services. So that will still fall under. If that's, Alicia, is that for like recurring charges, I'm assuming?
Yes, for recurring charges.
Yeah. So so that will fall on the services. And then so FedEx, so there's certain suppliers, and I'm still in the mix of doing that list. So there's current suppliers that will still have to go through the manual process, basically OCR, like FedEx, World Courier, because they don't go into the system. So those invoices basically you still manage it to this day, and basically submit what's for payment through OCR. And OCR is the WCMPO invoices at Med.Cornell.
Great. Next question. What about a line of credit for a consultant? Does it work the same way?
No. So the consultant is a service that will fall on the services. Again, line of credits is only to basically create a child PO against the line of credit. That's all this for. Everything else will have to be a standard process. If it's a consultant, there's a consultant basically GL code that will fall on the services. Any type of maintenance for a machine that will fall on any type of leases that will fall on the services. Everything will go on the services for those type of agreements.
Great. And Pauline, can you describe for the team a little bit about the training we have planned? There's a lot of work going on behind that. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Good morning, everyone. We are working pretty much around the clock, getting the training materials ready for all of you. We will have a replacement for our existing purchasing in the Wild Business Gateway, which is currently required for new users. We will keep that requirement in place for all new users. They'll be taking the Ariba version of that course. That online training course, though, will also be available to everyone. I believe we're going to be assigning it to all existing users, but it will be optional for you. So it won't be required if you're currently a purchaser or an approver for purchasing. You won't be required to take the new version of the training, but it would be strongly suggested, and I think it'll help you all as well. It'll give you a preview, and it'll explain the new process, the new terminology, and so on. And that will be available late April. That's when we're slated to get that ready for everyone. We'll also have our repository of job aids up on help files. There's also the Ariba microsite that Lucy, I believe, has put that website in the chat. So you can, as some of the materials are ready, they'll be posted there as well. The last week of April, Jorge and I will be providing what we call Delta webinars, and that's going to highlight the changes. The intended audience for the Delta webinars will be existing users, not really new people who are not familiar with the current system, because we're just going to give a comparison and a highlight of some of the more common functions that you do now and what the name of it and how it's going to look in the future once we go live the first week of May. Once we do go live, we're going to be holding a series of coaching labs. We'll have a lot of dates. Those dates will be communicated to everyone in broadcast emails. The dates will also be available on the microsite as well. And we'll be having those regularly scheduled through the month of May, and we'll schedule them as needed. If we need to have them longer, we'll definitely add sessions on that too. So there'll be plenty of materials, reference guides, online courses, in-person sessions for everyone to come with their questions in person on Zoom. We'll be there live to answer questions and go through demos as needed, you know, for anyone who wants to attend those. Those dates will be published very shortly.
Thanks a lot, Pauline.
Sure.
In addition, one last question. Will the logos of different suppliers be available like on the current forum so it's easier to select them?
It depends on the supplier. If they're able to update that on their end, then yes, they can do that. But I don't have no control for that. Yeah, so that'll answer that question. I also want to point out, so we're gonna be submitting communications out for the basically for the freeze dates on the system will not be available to be used. So for the last week of April, there will be no system ordering. Now, if you have an urgent order that needs to be completed, purchasing can handle that. And they'll be able to assist you on that part. Also, we urgently, want to tell everybody, please place their orders as soon as possible, and just try to be proactive if you can, because that week basically we need to transfer everything into production before May 1st. So Friday will be the last day for all approvals, which is the 28th, I believe. So yeah, that'll be the day for all approvals. That'll be pending in the system. And then May 2nd, everybody will start transacting through Ariba. Any concerns with that? Questions?
And don't worry if you didn't catch those dates. We're going to send that communication on Monday, so everyone will have it. We have a new question. Will the Ariba system allow us to create FY23 earmark and LOC POs before July 1st? Great question.
Yes. So that will commence on May 15 or May 16, one of those. So you'll be able to start creating FY23 earmark funds for those. Now, FYI, I also want to state that, you know, fund reservations are also being eliminated. Any current fund reservation that's in the system today will remain until the payments are completely, you know, reconciled. So that will stay the same. Any LOCs that are currently open will remain open until June 30th. I'm working with some suppliers like Airgas because they're not able to utilize those POs anymore once Ariba turns on. So I'm working with Airgas on that. I'm going to be recreating all those POs mid-April in the production system. And I will notify all the end users on basically whoever created the LOCs for those. I will notify them and give them a training on how to use the Airgas punch out in the system moving forward. So yeah, just an FYI on the LOCs.
That's great, Jorge. And we'll be organizing those demos in the next couple of weeks, and everybody will see invitations to those. Thank you. Any other questions? Well, we thank you for your time. You will be getting a note. We will have links in there to all the demos that occurred this week. And just so you know, we will be creating an FAQ document as well from all the questions from all the demos. So we really appreciate your time and attention, and just look for communications from our mailbox going forward, and we'll update you on a weekly basis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.